Now entering Nerdist.com.
Oh, that's good. That's real good.
That's boudoir music, I think.
It's
Diamonds are forever.
it's a very sexy song. Doug's doing an interpretive dance for an audio podcast.
It's like the opening titles.
How much of it do you listen to?
We let it play.
Or do you just play the whole movie?
Well, lately.
Well, he's just playing the song off of there, and then we'll throw the movie on.
Yeah, usually after the hook. Oh, listen to that. Oh.
Diamonds are forever.
If you guys aren't making love to your loves while listening to this right now.
Ladies, if you aren't shoving diamonds in your vagina.
Well, that went farther than I
I didn't
had originally intended.
Gentlemen, may I?
Please.
Please don't.
Why not come on and describe the cold open as James Bond always has one? Describe it and then go to this song.
Oh.
That's kind of a better way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Get it in the right order, because I just now I'm excited to talk about the song.
Right.
And then we're
not even
gonna have to go back.
Yeah. Oh boy, we fucked up, Matt Gorley.
No, it's a
start
learning
again.
process, at least. And the fun part about this show is not only is there a learning process, there's also a finite number
Yep.
of episodes.
Yes.
That's the beauty
You've
of it.
got to get it.
brilliance
You've
of
got to pull it together.
We're going to hit our stride at 23.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
Doug Benson, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Oh, there's a good thing.
Welcome to
do
the
also.
program,
Introduce
Doug
this-
Benson.
Introduce this interrupter.
Doug is joining us. Doug had his pick of the litter, and
I really what had already been because of course I would have gone after Goldfinger. I'm sure that was popular.
right.
I think people are going to want you to come back for Goldfinger.
Oh, really?
We could do
Yeah.
it again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what you're gonna do? Is just repeat?
Sure.
That's not a bad idea.
We're going to reboot the whole
That is not a
franchise.
terrible
just a
idea.
different guest and a different. You'll have a different perspective because it'll be 3 years from now when
Yeah.
you get back to the top of the lineup.
Doug is like a podcast savant.
He really is. Because you gave us the name, too.
You did.
That's right.
Yeah, he just said we want to do a thing about James Bond. I'm like, James Bonding?
You're the patron saint of our podcast.
It's about time we had you
God,
on here.
paying
It
respects.
wasn't my idea to replicate Bond and Scaramanga on the beach. I think that's pretty sweet.
Oh.
That was Matt
for
Gorley's
the
idea.
cover, yeah.
Really, I've contributed nothing to this podcast.
Are you kidding?
It's too bad you couldn't get Knick Knack in there. You know?
Oh, God. Season 2.
Well, here's my plan for that. Do you guys know Chris Tallman?
Yes.
He
Yes,
does an
yes.
impeccable Hervé Villechaize. And maybe we have him on as...
You are playing
Oh,
the
sure,
worst
on
song
just
ever.
Just an audio show, that'd be fine.
We don't need to hear any of
Are there
Madonna.
any other than the theme song? There's no other contemporary hits in the movie. Like
Right.
they hadn't reached that stage yet.
No.
Right. And I still think they're not at that stage, right? They don't really do that.
They did for a while because remember they put the Clash into Die Another Day.
Oh, God.
And the Beach Boys into View to a Kill.
As
And
they
there's
went
something
along,
else.
they just more and more, the credit at the beginning became more about the song. Like in this one, it just says title song by Shirley Bassey. It doesn't say what the song's called. I mean, it's obvious. But,
Yeah.
but they don't. But then later, it starts to really become like they were really just gunning for hit singles.
Yeah, I think they got the taste of Duran Duran and they were hungry.
They needed it
Yeah.
bad.
Like the wolf.
Of Wall
Oh,
Street.
I like what you did. I like what you did there. Welcome to this. We're talking about Diamonds Are Forever, obviously from the theme song. And Doug, we like to start off each James Bonding, where we talk to our guests about their experience with James Bond in life. Were you a fan of the movies? What was the first movie you saw? These kinds of questions. So, Doug, I will ask you right now: were you a fan of the James Bond movies?
Been a fan from like it's a kind of weirdo family entertainment.
Yeah.
Me too.
You know, they're all rated PG or whatever,
Yeah.
and they do a good job of, you know, you don't get a really good look at the girl's nipples when James Bond is strangling a girl with her own bikini
yeah,
top.
you almost doing this one. You almost get
That's
a
what I'm
decent
saying.
look,
You get
yeah.
it really quick.
Yeah.
And then I'm glad that's not a move that he did all the time. Anytime there, because there's a lot of scenes by
Whenever there's
pools.
trouble. Whenever there's trouble.
They're always by a pool or something. That'd be weird if he's just always strangling. But that's also the weird thing about James Bond is he just has but from beginning to end of the series, like maybe this is something you guys could do is start keeping
Yeah.
track. How many talents does he have?
Oh, yeah.
You know, because like Liam Neeson has a certain set of skills.
Yes, a
But
particular
James
set.
Bond can do 1,000 fucking things.
Yes,
Yeah.
he can.
He every situation, like watching it, it's not this new one, but watching Diamonds Are Forever from the new perspective
Yeah.
of probably not having seen it at least not chopped up in the background on Spike.
Yep.
I haven't really watched it, and it's I was kind of stunned by how dull parts of it were.
Sure. But I think that more than anything, I think, is a product of movies from the 70s. The pacing of movies.
But
from the
he
70s.
had every situation he knew he could, talk about. When a subject would come up, he'd know all about it.
Yes.
Like he knows
Yeah.
all about diamonds.
Yes.
Remember in On Her Majesty's Secret Service, he's like a practiced lepidopterist. He knows everything about butterflies,
Yeah.
and that's getting ridiculous.
Yeah, and he really throughout this one, he just was very much on top of everything. But then also operated so many different types of machinery. The second he jumped into
The moon
Yeah,
Him
buggy.
turning on the moon buggy. All that's given is to the audience is a subtle look of like, well, I don't know quite how to do this.
yeah,
But
here
then,
we go.
no problem.
Let's give it a whirl.
Payne's here.
Yeah,
I'd have trouble
that's
operating.
my
the-
vein. It's just Sean Connery talking through a paper towel.
You're not wrong. So, do you have a favorite James Bond movie from the 23 movies?
Well, that's the thing is I kind of this one was certainly maybe top 5, and now I'd have to reassess by watching them all again to figure out where it would land, because I was just sort of I was really quite stunned by how how slow the pacing was
Yeah.
on certain things, and
It's interesting too watching this one right after On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Yeah.
In the order in which they're going, it's just I think On Her Majesty's Secret Service is such a better film than Diamonds Are Forever. But for some reason, this was one of the Bond movies I watched the most.
Me too. I
growing
find this
up.
it's bonkers. It's bonkers, and this is what
I
I'm
think
talking
when
about.
I was young, I liked it because there was just something about it was more fish out of water than ever
Yeah,
to see
yeah.
Bond running around in Vegas.
Yeah, it's dusty.
And that stupid moon stuff, and the and then out on the oil tanker, and it was. I mean, I'm sure you guys just basically soup to nuts this thing, right?
Yeah,
You
we
just
do.
go through
We're
and-
gonna hop in right now.
yeah.
I don't know if I answered all of your questions there at the top, but
Do you remember your first Bond?
I
movie
love-
in
Ooh,
the-
first
in the
Bond
theaters?
theater
well,
experience.
I saw my parents took me to intentionally, and I think we watched all of it. They used to have sometimes they'd have triple bills
Oh my
of
God.
movies, and so we went one time and we'd seen them in their original theatrical release, I think, but then we saw Dr. No, From Russia with Love, and Goldfinger in a triple bill in the right order.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Like that's like a million years before now. Now every new sequel movie that comes
Yeah.
out,
those ones they
there's
do.
some theater where you can go and sit through all of them in a row.
Yeah.
Like they were doing
Marvel
Anchorman,
ones.
Anchorman 2,
And they do the Marvel
Hobbit,
ones now.
Hobbit 2.
Yeah.
With all the Marvel
I
ones.
did that
and it gets
to the Star
longer.
Trek
It gets
ones.
longer every year.
I went
Yeah.
to Star Trek 1 and 2. I think they did that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
brutal double billing.
Well,
to sit through.
I slept through the first one, and then
Yeah.
I was refreshed and ready to go.
That
for
first
con.
one is kind of. The first Star Trek movie. We'll talk about that on Star Trekking.
Yeah. Star bonding. Star bonding, because then we can do Star Wars too.
Love it. I love it, guys. We're doing it.
You could do Star 80.
Oh, that could be on there. That's perfect. Last Starfighter.
Starman.
The Last Starfighter. Will
Yeah,
that qualify?
sure. Starman.
Starman's overlooked gem. That's probably really boring to watch.
Did we just
now.
create a new
Yeah.
game for the Douglas Movies
Rockstar,
podcast?
the Mark Wahlberg movie.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Rockstar is awful.
Um,
Star.
is there a Star?
Start me up.
Start me up. The Rolling Stones song.
Yeah, we could branch out to songs. So this is Diamonds Are Forever. It's the let's set the scene again, as we like to do. This is 2 years after On Her Majesty's Secret Service, the George Lazenby's only tenure as James Bond, where, as we've discussed many times over, he did a very serviceable job.
How did it go though? They wanted him out, or they wanted Sean back in, or like what was the
He
pecking
was slated
order?
to come back, and then
yeah.
he was convinced that these movies were done for. Like hippie counterculture, Easy Rider stuff was coming back, so he goes, "Nope, not gonna do it.
Yeah, there's
Not shaving my beard,
yeah,
literally,
yeah,
right?"
Yep, he didn't want to shave his beard.
And so then this is basically the story. Then before they had Connery, they thought Burt Reynolds, because they wanted an American
Right.
style Bond, because that was kind of big, gritty 70s American films. they considered Adam West, and then they signed John Gavin.
Correct.
And then they got Connery back, and John Gavin graciously stepped out, but they paid him his entire contract fee.
Oh, I would have stepped out
So
too.
the original plot of this movie was a Goldfinger's twin brother, played by Gert Frobe, comes back and wants revenge. That was the original plot for this movie.
Oh,
And
so
So-
maybe that's where they got the
Die Hard with a
idea
Vengeance.
the idea to have Blofeld have many lives.
yeah, something like that.
It's,
I think
it's interesting. So this,
Because also
Blofeld's
they
been
had
played
to-
by 3 or 4 different actors.
yeah,
over the
and they had to
series.
justify that Bond knew who he was at this point.
yeah.
So
It's-
the plastic surgery.
This was a weird one. I had forgotten about the weirdness of Blofeld before. Like I couldn't even really picture. Like most Bond movies, like the first thing you think of is its villain.
Yeah.
And in this
Yeah.
one, when I was watching it again, I was like, "Oh, that's right. It was Charles Gray as Blofeld." What-
Yeah, you think of Mr. Wint and Mr. Kidd more than you do Blofeld.
yeah,
in this movie.
absolutely.
Well, the interesting, I think,
In a sexual way. I
Oh,
do.
obviously.
I do.
That's one of the two of them are one of my favorite things, and it didn't dawn on me until because after I watched it, I put it back on with the commentary on, which is
Yeah.
a very produced commentary.
Yeah.
where they're constantly
Cut up, yeah.
dropping actually
Oh, yeah.
really interesting things, and the director just flat out said those guys are gay, and I watched the whole movie today from a more adult and 2013 eyes, and it never once dawned on me they were gay. I just thought they were a couple of weirdos that go around killing people.
Well, anytime you
Wait,
get
are
a-
you-
Calling each other
serious?
by their. I'm serious. I never
never
thought of them as being gay. I mean, when
No
do they
kidding.
ever? They don't.
They hold hands right in the beginning.
They do.
Yeah, right
they
when
do.
after they kill that
they do,
dentist.
but to Doug's point, they could just be weirdos.
Yeah, I think-
they're definitely weirdos.
Yeah.
and
They
they're
just
definitely
always
gay.
struck me as weird, or maybe I
Wow,
just
interesting.
it never entered my mind because
Wait a
I've
minute.
seen it since I was a kid.
When he goes, oh, she certainly is attractive, and Mr. Wint is putting perfume on, and he looks at him, and the guy goes,
For a
a
lady."
lady.
Oh, that's true. That one should give it away.
Well, if you'd like to hear that very line,
These guys are, oh my God.
They're one of my favorite things
Me
in
too.
a James Bond movie. That
Jill St. John, by the way.
I just
Yeah.
like how strange they are, and she's one of the hotter.
Wow.
She is, Gillian
she's-
Anderson could play
She
her
really
in a
puts it out
reboot.
there.
no.
You don't think so? They
Gillian
kind of
Anderson.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Gillian?
No, it's Gillian Jacobs.
Oh,
That's
Gillian
what I mean.
Jacobs
That's
is
what I
your
mean.
thinking.
Gillian
Okay.
Jacobs, yes.
That reminds me of the game we played on the Nerdist TV show, Gilligan, Gillian, or Gillian.
I'd lose.
God damn it.
You wouldn't
Mr.
lose.
Wint and Mr. Kidd are either the most inspired or just the most fucked up casting. I don't know if they got lucky or were brilliant.
Well, it's
I really
Crispin
don't.
Glover's dad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
is,
Putter Smith.
is
Putter
Mr.
Smith, the
Kidd.
folk singer?
Jazz musician.
Jazz musician.
bassist. He
The-
played on The Righteous Brothers, Lost That Love and Feeling.
Sometimes he seems a little like he's kind of gonna laugh, like he's gonna break character, like he's sort of he's sort of weird with it. Whereas,
you got-
whereas Crispin Glover's dad was just born to be this weird.
Well, let's hear a
you've
little
got a
bit
guy
of
who's
who we're talking
not
about.
acting at all and a guy who's overacting completely.
Yes.
And it's somehow inspired.
Mister.
So this is obviously the old Scorpion trick.
Yeah. Which originally they had a scene that they put it in his mouth, but they had to cut it because it was too violent.
Now,
Dr. Tynan?
Plus, how do they get it into his mouth?
Who are you?
It's weird.
Where's
It's on
Joe?
the DVD.
Joe couldn't make it tonight. I'm Mr. Wint.
That's Crispin's
This is
dad.
Mr. Kidd.
they're so creepy.
Originally, Paul Williams was going to play Mr. Wint.
Yes.
And they were going to do like Big and Little Enos from Smokey and the Bandit. You remember?
Yes. Now, this movie is about, it's called Diamonds Are
What a
Forever.
bizarre idea. They started getting really bizarre ideas around this point.
What's the matter with him?
Now, I love that he's pretending to have a toothache.
Would you mind
So
having a
we've
look?
established that this guy's a dentist?
Yes, we have.
He takes the diamonds from the miners
no,
out
open
of their
wide.
mouths.
Let's
dentist
listen to a scorpion
But he's a
death.
serious dentist.
Yeah.
Let's hear a scorpion death.
Okay, he just dropped it down the back of his... At first, he got the tickle, like, what's down there? Oh! And then he just
And he
falls
manages
over.
to do that.
And he falls over and smashes it into his
Now,
into his
everyone who
back.
touches those diamonds seems to die.
Can I tell you a story
Real
about,
big goofy guy.
Bruce Glover? I was like at a commercial audition in the 90s, and there was one of those photocopied a picture of a Bruce Glover acting class that he was personally teaching with the little handwritten phone numbers at the bottom.
Oh my god.
And I don't know why I didn't take it.
I would have taken it immediately.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking.
So this movie picks up right after Honor Majesty's Secret Service, which is a movie that ends with what I think is the best James Bond ending of all time. which is Tracy being killed by Blofeld.
Got shot in the middle of the head.
Shot right in the head. James kind of loses it a little bit at the end there. And this picks up with him looking for Blofeld. So he's looking for revenge. So theoretically, James Bond has been off on vacation on his honeymoon, but just looking to kill Blofeld.
Yeah.
So
It's this movie, the good guys and the bad guys kind of have this equal, absolute lack of respect for human life. Like they just are, I will just kill everybody in the way until I get what I want. Like I don't even want to keep people alive to question them.
Yeah.
I just want to kill everyone. And
I would argue that this movie, Blofeld has the most opportunities to easily kill James Bond.
He's got plenty.
yeah,
He's
no,
got
there's
plenty.
there is so much ridiculous monologuing and just letting things slip through the cracks.
There's
Like, oh, he seems unconscious. That's close enough to dead for us to bury him alive.
and in the cold open of this movie, they put on a clinic in bad ADR. They really, no one's words are matching up with what they're saying.
Oh, there's a really bad one.
Oh, also in the
James
gun barrel
Bond
sequence,
has a really bad one.
when Connery comes out and he goes down on one knee and fires, did you notice that? And
Yes.
then he very clearly wobbles, and you can just imagine that he goes, "That's it. That's the only take you'll get from me. Use it or lose it. I don't
This
care."
is this beginning,
Cairo guy
this
is
whole
my
opening. The reason they give for making it, other than Sean Connery would probably rather not be shooting these scenes, was you don't see his face for a while because the idea is he's back and it's not Lazenby. So let's have this whole cold open be like. Really,
him?
really
Is it
cutesy
really
about him
him?
appering. But now that we're discussing it, I'm thinking that Sean Connery is just like, just shoot those without, just
Clearly.
pretend I'm there.
Here's a quick sample of
and he says
that.
witty things to everybody.
Marie. Ask Marie.
Oh, this is the best one where he strangles a lady with her own top.
Oh boy.
My name is Bond. James Bond.
I watched this for the first time on
Is there
Blu-ray.
something
and
I can do for you?
Blu-ray is not kind to these
Yes, as a
people.
matter of fact,
No,
there is.
Just the makeup and
There's something I'd like you to get off your chest.
Now he's strangling a woman with her bikini
but she's
top.
kind of titillated
And
by it.
Stavro Blofeld.
Where's
movie?
Blofeld?
Speak
I'll
up,
strangle
darling,
you
I
to
can't hear
death if you don't tell me.
So-
And then no more. We don't need to know what happens with her.
No worries. He's really just on a mission. So we're recording this on Wednesday night here at Meltdown, which is the night of the big Meltdown show, which you'll be able to see on Comedy Central next year. But if you hear yelling, that's what is going on here.
I don't think they hear it. These mics are really good.
You don't think they hear it? I think they hear it. Katie
doesn't
Moneypenny?
know.
They might hear it a little
Maybe
bit.
a little bit.
Katie Moneypenny says they might hear it a little
Good
bit.
to give him a heads up.
So let's talk about where we find Blofeld. We find Blofeld in the process of... Now, do you think this is plastic surgery in the minds of the writers of this film? Do you think this is plastic surgery Blofeld himself has gotten to no longer look like Blofeld?
Oh.
And also, while he's at it, let's make a bunch of doubles of me?
Good question.
I think that sounds about right.
Right?
Although
Yeah.
you may be thinking way farther than they ever did.
Yeah, and you might be confusing it with Spy Kids.
Touche. Because I was
Or
really
Dark
thinking,
Man.
because I was trying to figure out if the mannequin of
Oh,
which
yeah.
the prosthetics are being applied to
It's just a
looks
jump to the
like Telly
left.
Savalas.
I think I think you may be right.
Yeah, so that's what I'm going to say is
I never
happening
put
here.
that together.
Now
He's the Rocky Horror guy.
so we meet Blofeld.
That's the great thing about facial plastic surgery is it changes the entire way your body is and the way you stand.
Yeah.
And you're just an entirely different person.
I don't know if you've seen the movie Face Off, but it's very possible. So what?
So what's with all the mud?
The mud is apparently where you need to incubate for this plastic
You
surgery.
guys,
to
you guys
take.
have never had plastic surgery?
Oh, not like
that's-
this. No.
yeah.
That's what needs to happen. So let's hear the interaction. This is the first time that James is running into Blofeld after Blofeld has killed his wife.
Right.
The only woman
Good to remember. Put it in
he's
perspective.
ever loved.
Yeah.
This guy is but he does look different, so maybe that throws him off.
Making mud pies.
He also has a completely different voice now, too.
Yeah.
He would have been me in a matter of days if you'd given the poor fellow a chance. Such a pity. I was dying to see how the operation turned out. Get his gun.
James has said nothing.
I love the way he
your
puts his
hands up.
hands up here. Well,
I guess I'll participate.
Shantae.
And then he's got the mouse trap in the pocket,
The old mouse
which he
trap.
never has on any other mission. Seems like it would come in handy most of the time.
He takes scalpels
Blofeld could get to work doing something.
Blofeld's just chilling. He's very weird in this scene. Like, oh, maybe I'll do something. And he lunges at him oddly over a table. It's very easy
Straps him in.
easy to knock out and strap down.
And instead of shooting him or anything like that, he just decides to put him in some boiling lava mud.
Yeah, throw him in there, and he
It's
just
all
goes.
mashed
He goes
potatoes.
right in.
And now, what does he say something here? Now that he's just gotten revenge.
I know this is where he'd
Hell, Blofeld.
go to hell. He says.
Welcome to Hell, Blofeld, with a hell of a smirk.
Yeah. He's pretty content. He did it.
But that's,
Go to the
that's
opening
not
song.
Blofeld, though. He's killing another imposter.
Correct.
He's killing an imposter.
Correct, he's
but
killing an imposter.
He seems pretty happy with himself. He kills a fake Blofeld at the beginning of the one where Sheena Easton sings the theme song.
Oh,
And
for
that's,
your eyes only.
that's theoretically
For your eyes
the real.
only.
That's the real.
That's the real
Blofeld.
one. He finally
That's
drops him down a
theoretically-
chimney,
Yes,
and that's it.
That's their way of getting rid of McClory, Kevin McClory,
Yeah.
the guy
Yeah.
who owned the rights to Blofeld, and getting rid of the character as a whole. So then we start with the Diamonds Are Forever, which is Shirley Bassey's
No
return.
alternate tracks.
No
for
alternate
this one.
tracks for this one. Shirley Bassey's back. Guy Hamilton's back directing. This is the Goldfinger team.
They wanted to get the feeling of Goldfinger.
Yeah.
They
How
wanted
many
that.
did Guy Hamilton direct overall?
4. I think we're going to agree on that.
Let's say.
What was his last one? Where'd they have
Man
to
with
put
the
him out
Golden
to
Gun.
pasture? Oh,
Yeah.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonder why he quit after that.
I think they
Or
sort
they
of just
quit him.
decided to quit him.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
So this one,
a good one.
Sean Connery, they lured him back with $1 million contract.
$1,200,000.
$1.2 million. Sean Connery took the deal, but then donated the entire check to the Scottish Library Foundation.
That almost makes up for him beating women. Not
I
quite.
think it does.
Really?
Because I think in any
I
situation...
will publicly say
Sometimes,
I do not fall on that line.
I'm just trying to say what Connery said. You know how women are. They won't stop. They always have to have the last word.
Well, we can address it as we move along, but some of these women are troublemakers.
Troublemakers.
I mean, that one woman goes right to his room, like with all she knows about him is that he just handed her $5,000 for doing nothing.
yeah.
For being bad luck, he gives her money.
Natalie Wood's sister.
Lana Wood.
Oh.
I have that Playboy somewhere.
I've met her.
I know. I know. So let's hear now. This is how M talks to. M was at the wedding. So M was very nearby when Tracy was killed, and M is now dealing with the fact that Bond is back and is done with Blofeld.
0.5 carats cut. The Akbar Shah, 116 carats rough. Are you paying attention, 007?
The Akbar Shah, 116 carats rough. But surely, sir, there's no need to bring in our section on a relatively simple smuggling matter.
Sir Donald has convinced the PM otherwise. May I remind you, 007, that Blofeld's dead. Finished. The least we can expect from you now is a little plain, solid work.
Now, what is that about? Like, isn't Blofeld isn't it? They're kind of like in the world of their story. Isn't that kind of like taking down Osama bin
Yeah,
Laden
that'd
or
be
something?
pretty big.
That's exactly right.
It's a really big
Yeah.
catch, and they treat him like some sort of scumbag that was
Hobbyist.
Who
off
went and wasted
chasing
time.
after somebody that wasn't a threat to anyone.
Yeah. So then this movie we learn a little bit about diamond smuggling. This expert I assume he's a diamond magnate is talking to them about what's happening. Now, what I like about this filmmaking wise is I really like that I feel like typically in a James Bond movie we would hear this British gentleman explaining
Yeah, I'm with you.
and see nothing.
This is strange exposition, though. So he starts talking about it. Then they start showing you.
Yeah.
Then it goes to Mr. Wint and Mr. Kidd off of that exposition with no more exposition.
Correct.
And then it goes back to him
Comes
finishing
back
the
to
story.
this scene.
I just feel like, was that on purpose or just they were editing going, fuck it, we'll fix it
No, I
later.
think that was on purpose, and I kind of liked it.
Yeah, I did
liked.
too.
I really like that. I like exposition that can be seen as well as explained, because
Yeah.
that's something that James Bond movies suffer from a lot. Is exposition for just the purposes of exposition, and only in a talking head situation.
Right.
You know what I noticed?
What'd you notice?
The women in the opening title sequence are where a lot of them are wearing chokers,
Oh, yeah.
and James Bond is a choker.
Oh, nicely done, Doug. Nice Doug observation.
Yeah, and I think even Jill St. John wears a choker.
That's
at
right.
some
She
point.
does, and the cat does.
She pulls it off. I'll tell you that.
Doesn't-
Jill St. John.
Yeah.
There's some
not
pretty
acting-wise. Let's be honest.
Yes,
It's not bad. They give her some. They give her there's one line in particular. We'll get to it. That is
Is it-
no actress could make it work.
Is it
Now-
tutor Charlie or blow up your pants?
Blow up your pants.
This is the only.
Oh,
this is
God.
the only scene.
I think she riffed the other one.
You better lay off that tutor, Charlie. I'll give you something to honk about. Say.
She's anyway.
She's basically Edward G. Robinson.
We'll get to
in this
her.
movie. All
We'll
right.
get to her shortly. But the this is the only instance in James Bond of one of my favorite parts of a James Bond movie, which is the British off, where you get
This is
you
a new segment.
you throw a couple of British people in a room and see who acts the most British.
Yeah.
And
Indubitably.
I say.
this situation is great because M explains that he doesn't want any sherry because of his liver, and then Bond gets real uppity about it.
Oh, this is the bonbon.
Yeah.
Please sit down.
Thank you.
Sherry?
Not for me, thanks. Doctor's orders.
Commander Bond,
Yes, thank you.
Commander.
you've been on holiday, I understand.
Holiday.
Relaxing, I hope.
Oh, hardly relaxing, but most satisfying. Cheers.
Cheers.
I guess he's just settling for that and not asking for his usual drink.
Pity about your liver, sir. It's an unusually fine Solera. 51, I believe.
There is no year for sherry, 007.
I was referring to the original vintage on which the sherry is based, sir. 1851.
Boom! Drop the mic.
Precisely.
Precisely.
Precisely with a Z.
That gentleman wins the British off for today's
Just look
episode.
at him. He wins without even speaking.
He was probably in the trenches during World War One.
Precisely.
Precisely.
James Bond knows everything.
Yeah, it gets time. What is it, Moonraker, where he knows that flower too? That
He knows the poisonous flower.
He knows
He's a botanist.
butterflies and flowers.
But he does. Well, let's just. This is
Tell me, Commander,
the eye roll
does
from
your
Bernard Lee.
expertise extend
He's
into
us.
the field of diamonds?
Well, hardest substance found in nature, the cut glass, suggest marriage. I suppose I've replaced a dog as a girl's best friend, and that's about it.
Refreshing to hear there's one subject you're not an expert on.
Yes, well,
He rifled off 4 things about it that were pretty
Pretty accurate. I
Not too
mean,
bad.
that's good.
What more do you need to know?
Now, so here's the situation. Someone's taking some diamonds and smuggling them out of these South African mines, but they're not showing up on the market. So they don't know what's happening to these diamonds. They're worried that someone's going to flood the market with diamonds, very similar to a way that maybe a Goldfinger's brother might do something. You know? So what we have here is now an explanation, a long exposition situation of South African mining, as well as how people smuggle things, and then, of course, the introduction. We talked about them a little bit of Mr. Wint and Mr. Kidd, who I think we all can agree are our favorite henchmen.
Mine, certainly.
They're pretty awesome.
I've got these 2 art pieces that are just pictures of them from chin down, and they're unbelievable.
I think that's why I have a fondness for this one, is because I like them, and there's another pair that appears later in the film that I also treasure.
Yeah, they really give you everything in this. They really do.
It really is like the blockbusters of today should learn a lesson from this movie, because it's got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of characters, but it doesn't feel like it's squeezed in.
Yeah, because they just get their little segment, like Bambi and Thumper, just one scene.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
all you
but
need.
also the way that Mr. Kidd and Mr. Wint are sprinkled throughout the film.
Yeah.
So Peter Franks. So now James is given this
delightful.
mission to go find out what's happening to these diamonds. So he's going to infiltrate a smuggling ring by taking the place of Peter Franks.
Although, as much as I love this exposition rundown, it did leave me more confused than when I began as to why everybody's being killed and where it's going and why.
Well, that's the interesting thing.
Yeah.
You do never quite know what Mr. Kidd and Mr. Wint are up to and who
Yeah.
they're working for.
Bond has kind of just a fucking stumbling into things kind of
Yeah,
approach
yeah.
to solving the case.
Which happens more often than people realize.
And then you'd like. I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
James really does stumble around. And there's
yeah,
actually
he's
some,
not making smart decisions that get him exactly what he needs to know.
There's some very interesting. There's a memo.
He's getting people killed a lot of the time.
Yeah, there's a memo
girl.
in the James Bond archives book, the Tashin book that Matt and I own. From
Jointly.
Yes, we jointly own it. From Sean Connery to the producers after having read the script for Goldfinger, talking about how he didn't like the fact that James was always 3 steps behind everybody in the movie, and I think this one suffers from that too.
Interesting.
I think he's a bit behind everybody. Too much so.
He's just walking around going, well, and like when he's impersonating somebody, he doesn't seem to have any particular goal in mind.
Now,
I speak English.
Just like I can get away with being in here if
are we missing anything thus far in the film that you guys wanted to touch upon? Because I have something I'd like to talk about.
Oh,
with
please do it.
All right, so Peter Franks, James takes over the identity of Peter Franks. So how does he do it? Well, with a rare field visit from Miss Moneypenny.
Yeah, working.
Working out in the field.
This part made me sad.
Yeah.
Because on the commentary, they said she gets to take in her contract. She got to keep all of her wardrobe, and the only scene she has in this movie, she's wearing this dumb uniform. So they're totally boned. Here you go. You can keep your dumb uniform.
Mr. Franks,
she was in like 17
your
of these
passport
movies.
is quite in order.
Well, anyone seeing you in that outfit, Moneypenny, would most certainly be discouraged from leaving the country.
Was that a compliment?
I think so.
A diamond?
Do you think she looks
In a
good in
ring?
that?
A diamond in her ring. She
Yeah,
says
she's
to the
like-
man whose wife just died.
Yeah, no, she's works in every one of the movies. She wants him so bad.
She wants him so bad. She doesn't care that she was at that wedding.
But
And
the
he-
saddest is the follow-up.
He's happy to flirt with her, but then he also is very blow-offy.
Yeah, let's hear the follow-up while the loudest music in the world is playing.
Would you settle for a tulip?
And
Yes.
she's into it. She that would be a tulip instead of a marriage proposal.
And then we
And then
see
on to the
the
hottest new thing, the hovercraft.
yeah, they're
Katie,
playing,
do you have any idea what they're
playing
doing down
music
there?
really loud tonight.
At the beginning of every show, and then Ed comes on and screams.
Yeah, so
Good
it's a
Lord.
little-
Let's just...
it's a little noisy for a little while.
There
oh,
we go.
just stop.
Oh,
Oh, start
Oh.
up again.
Barely.
it's punk movie. Okay,
Yeah,
well, good.
I don't think the listeners care.
Good. We're hearing it. So then here's the situation here, guys. You know, it's the 70s. What new forms of transportation have been invented for a James Bond movie to be? Hovercrafts.
Yeah.
Guys, this is the first instance of a hovercraft in a James Bond movie.
Yeah.
And we don't
Yeah,
see it
because
again.
the channel didn't exist yet.
And is that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So the only way they thought, what's the sexiest way we can get across the pond?
Nicely done. So we see the hovercraft situation. James has to go to Amsterdam now to take over the guise of Peter Franks, and we see Jill St. John in a.
We see a lot of her. She when she changes from one practically naked outfit, it's into another practically naked outfit. Like a couple different times, she's kind of like, oh, I should put something on, and comes back with barely anything.
somehow less.
Yeah.
So here's
Help yourself to a drink.
James delivers my favorite line James Bond has ever
There
delivered.
is no
talking
Mr.
about.
Yeah.
Case. The T is for Tiffany.
Tiffany Case. Definitely distinctive.
I was born there. On the first floor while my mother was looking for a wedding ring.
Well, I'm glad for your sake it wasn't Van Cleef and Arpels. Weren't you blonde when I came in?
Could be.
I tend to notice little things like that, whether a girl is a blonde or a brunette.
And which do you prefer?
Oh, providing the collars and cuffs match.
We'll talk about
Collars
that.
and cuffs.
Collars and
That's what you
cuffs.
like?
Collars and cuffs, everybody.
God, I didn't even get that when I was a kid. Collars and cuffs have to match.
I thought that was
what a gay man.
somehow I thought that was so much classier than carpet and drapes.
Yeah.
I really did.
Talk about the difference between Tiffany Case in the movie and the book.
Go.
In the book, she's the daughter of a madam that ran a San Francisco whorehouse, and she was gang raped by mobsters. In this movie, she's just a spirited old sassy gal.
Yeah, she's
who
just out
gets
there
knocked
just
off a
doing her
drill
thing.
rig by shooting a machine gun.
But
I've named Tiffany Case because I was born at Tiffany's in a glass case.
I just fell into the display case, placenta and everything. So now this Bond. This is great too. The situation.
There's a whole weird fingerprints thing.
There's a whole weird fingerprint
that's
thing.
pretty fun.
She's fingerprinted his glass, which we see her then run the check to make sure it's Peter Franks. Checks out okay. And what I enjoy quite a bit is the phone call to Q.
Where he says he made him for his
Yes.
His kids for Christmas?
That's the voice box later, but this
Oh,
phone
right.
call to Q.
That's right.
Now, this is a scene of Desmond Llewellyn in theoretically in Q Branch. So he's hanging out while stuff's going on in the
It bums
background.
me out when there isn't a session of getting the devices.
Right, of getting the I agree with you 100%.
Why
but
would they do it this way?
what I do love about this is you are seeing an Aston Martin in the background being loaded with missiles.
Yeah, there's a bunch of
Yes,
there's a whole
heavily.
stack of
Just-
missiles.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 missiles the size of the engine being loaded
there
into
is
an Aston
something
Martin.
that- maybe you put your finger on it in that it's, what did you call it, like the fish out of water one or something? What of this Bond movie?
Yeah, because he's like they had to bring Miss Moneypenny out into the world,
Yeah.
and
There's
there's
something
got
I
he
love
and
about
Q don't get together.
It is a weird
And
red-headed stepchild that you
It's
love.
weird, but
you know?
going to Vegas brings some really fun things.
Really,
to talk
really
about.
interesting
Yeah,
stuff,
I put
yeah.
this one on a
Certainly.
lot.
Yeah, it's really.
But here's the
it's quite entertaining, but
Yeah.
by put it on a lot, you mean you have it on
While I'm
in
not
the room.
watching it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
it's playing on a loop right now.
Yeah.
In touch with you? That Peter Franks fellow's escaped. Killed one of the guards on the way up to London. Hello?
That is like, what is he, a fucking vampire from Twilight?
He's the Batman of telephones.
Just, yeah.
So
Oh, so
Even
that's what
the
that's
bed's
like.
made,
Yeah,
too.
the
He
bed's
Yeah,
straightened
it's
out the bed.
very strange how you move the phone over to the right spot. It should at least be laying there off the hook still.
Oh, there's a tip for the maid.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Then James Bond does. He hides
Poor
out.
Q. He doesn't show up again. He shows,
up
again
later. Yeah, he
okay.
shows up later. Then James Bond, in case you guys missed it,
Are you there?
I like to imagine that was 20 more minutes. James Bond hides out much away our gang would hide out
Yeah. Right.
by pretending to make out with himself.
It does look pretty convincing, though, when they show it. You
Yeah.
podcast
Yeah.
listeners.
Yeah,
are gonna
there it
love
is.
He's got
There it
sex,
is.
those man hands.
I'm good. And then we see a fight very reminiscent of one of our favorite fights in all of the James Bond world, which is the train fight from Russia with Love. We see a nice close quarters fight on an
Yeah,
elevator.
that's like a staple of the Bond films. It's
Yeah.
like a tight space fight.
It's a little out of place in this movie, but I love it.
It is a
so
little out of
good.
place, and it's
So
also
good.
now the score. What do you think of the music in this movie?
It's like the movie. It's oddly paced.
It's really,
slow.
it seems to be put in without any care or attention to what's happening. When she's dusting off the glass for Prince, it's the most romantic music.
I know.
That's because you're supposed to be feeling the pheromones that she's released to James Bond.
And the Mr. Kid theme is that boo doo 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 boo boo doo boo.
Right, but I think the weirdest music, and we'll get to it, is during the Dune buggy.
Oh,
the moon
there's a
buggy.
weird
It's
long
just like
section
little
of it where there's
tiny
no music.
strings, like just little
Yeah.
plucks. We'll
But for
get
a
to
while,
that.
there's no music. It's just the sounds of the motors and the engines.
So James gets into a huge fight with the real Peter Franks, kills him.
But did you notice when they fight up in the hallway, then there's just this wall rack of crowbars and weapons ready to be used?
No,
Yeah, I
and
think
then,
that's
and then
just-
Bond eventually grabs the fire extinguisher
Yeah.
and,
And
sprays him
suffocates
in
him,
the
I
face.
guess?
And then, but I like when he immediately falls over that rail. Like
Oh,
Bond
yeah.
just gets
Yeah.
lucky that the guy doesn't
Yeah.
come at him even harder now that he's been blinded, and he just falls over that rail. And but then Bond throws the fire extinguisher at the guy who's already laying possibly dead on the floor down below. He just throws it at him.
It's brutal. But James, very quick thinking, James Bond here, thinks, oh, she's going to check his ID.
This is good screenwriting.
This is actually very
Yeah.
good screenwriting. But what I love is that it's a Playboy card.
Yeah, of course.
So here we are. Here he quickly switches the wallet, but then we get a nice insert.
You killed James Bond.
Let's hear it.
My God. You just killed James Bond.
Who carries ID in his wallet?
Surprise, Connery.
Is that who it was?
It's ridiculous.
What?
Well, it just proves no one's indestructible.
You don't kill James
You know what? This
Bond
movie
and
is
sit
so
around
close
waiting for the cops to
to
arrive.
Never Say Never
We've gotta
Again
get those
in
diamonds
just
out of here
style
and fast.
delivery.
What are they?
Well, he also is always complimenting James Bond as this other guy.
Yeah.
A little old lady dropped them by yesterday morning.
Chandelier. I shouldn't have this much light near my piece.
We see it is right. It is real bad.
This is the first one where when he comes in and shoots the gun in the beginning in the circles, he's wearing a hat.
No, he wears a hat.
Earlier?
He's not. That's not him though. Doesn't he?
No, in this one it's him.
Yes, in this one it's him.
Yeah.
But he's got a hat on.
the
He's
earlier
got a little
ones
pork
it's not,
pie
yeah.
on that he
Yeah.
never wears in the movie. You know?
He does. He only wears it. He only holds it when he walks into the Moneypenny's office to toss it
Yeah.
onto the coat rack.
Yeah.
That's the only time you see James with that hat. Now, this then now takes a turn. So the movie, you're used to all these exotic locations, you know.
Oh wait, Alimentary Canal.
Oh yeah, we got it.
Oh, would you like to hear him?
Well, I just have a question about
It's,
this.
yeah, I don't
Did
get
they
it.
mean to say?
I think they did.
They shoved it in his
ass.
mouth
I think
or
so.
his ass?
Ass,
Because
I think
it's
so.
the whole
Yeah,
passage.
the elementary.
Yeah.
So boy,
Yeah,
they
it's-
really
it's
put
a,
it up
it's
there.
a really subtle.
And this is let's hear a little
it's
bit.
in his ass joke.
Let's hear a little bit more from Mr. Kid and Mr. One.
Oh,
This is B.
They're both aboard.
So he's always got to have that horrible perfume.
For a lady.
Ah, there it is. Oh, and he really stared him down on that. Yeah, so they're
now.
clearly gay. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're
But,
gay in the
never
book
got
too.
it.
They're in the book and they're not comic.
I didn't even get
Guys,
it.
pay attention to what LAX looks like in this.
Oh, look
fucking
at that!
movie.
It's still got the crazy restaurant that's normally in the middle of this massive, involved place. Now it looks like Burbank Airport.
Yeah, they're just deboarding.
Follow me to customs, please.
Oh shoot!
I like how every time James has to say Felix Leiter because it's always a different character. It's always a different
explain
person.
that he's that guy.
This guy's pretty good. He's fine.
Yeah, he's a good Felix.
Listen
Did we
to this
ever
music.
decide who our favorite Felix was?
Mine's
some lunch,
David
Gary.
Hedison. Well,
Yeah.
I like Jeffrey Wright too, but
Take over.
And here it is.
Death certificate, please, Mr. Franks.
Well, well, well. Felix Leiter, you old fraud.
On behalf of the CIA, welcome to America. Someone sent their
The
brain
old
trust
office
down to
buildings
meet
on
you.
Century Boulevard.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
This is crazy. These guys.
I know.
And let's hear him.
I give up. I know the diamonds are in the body, but where?
Elementary, Dr. Leiter.
So long, James. Keep in touch.
So
I'm gonna have
he
someone
doesn't
else.
seem that upset by it. He
Here's
just
the-
seems a little slowed down.
Here's
by
the
it.
bananas thing to think about right now. James is now going to ride in this limousine 4.5 hours to Las Vegas.
Sitting between those guys.
Sitting between those guys in a hearse.
Yeah.
Weirdos.
Yeah, that is weird to think of.
Now,
He's
of
doing his
course,
job.
This is when James Bond's accidentally sent into a mobster sketch from the 20s.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah,
Now,
it's
let's
really
hear,
wacky.
let's hear,
these
let's hear a little bit of
mobsters.
the.
You want to sit in the front, Mr. Franks? It's a lot smoother ride in the front, Mr. Franks.
Yes, I believe I'll sit in front.
This is definitely a turning point. There was never anything like this in the movies all previous to this
No,
one.
no.
Where it's
Slumber
like
Inc.
Weird
everybody.
caricatures.
And a 1971 Cadillac hearse. Cadillac. So now they're doing the long 4.5 hour drive, and here's a little taste.
I got a brother.
Oh, we missed a little comedy situation right there. I'll have to bear with us, everybody, while we.
The book is entirely about the mob.
Well, it's an interesting thing
so
for James
it's all
Bond to
about
tackle.
it in the book, and then it just gets a little taste in the movie because they're probably scared of it because it is a weird departure.
It is, yeah.
Franks,
Yes, it was.
I got a brother.
Little raise of the eyebrow.
Small world.
Jesus. I love this guy that plays Slumber.
He does a very good funeral director.
Yeah.
As I know, having spent 4 years working in a funeral
Oh,
home.
that's right.
But so here's the thing. So now James is still Peter Franks. So they've smuggled in the thing in the body, and then the goal is they're going to burn the casket and the body. All that would be left, obviously, is diamonds, as well as fillings from the teeth. So James now goes in the office and awaits the diamonds to be left over. I have to say, burning a body and a casket in a cremation oven, depending on how big the gentleman is, takes at least 4 hours.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It gets pretty damn hot too.
Yeah, it gets real hot in there. The fatter you are, by the way, the longer you take to burn.
Oh, that makes sense, I guess.
Yep.
All that tallow, it's like candle wax,
Yep.
just dripping down.
You're exactly right. Also, the weird thing too, when we would get ashes sent back to the funeral home, they would always come in a box and we would then put the contents in the urn, but it would always come back hot. The box was always hot.
And that's not because it just came from the burning. It's because they would just do it as a courtesy to keep it warm.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
It was always super hot.
The funeral director guy here.
Yep.
Is his name really Mr. Slumber?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Mr. Slumber.
That's the craziest name to say to everybody when they enter the funeral home.
Slumber Incorporated.
So he's just being handed the urn, and he's going to take a look and see, obviously, all that's left is beautifully clean diamonds.
Ashes to ashes.
Dust to dust.
Exactly. At a moment like this, I'm sure you'd rather be left alone for reflection.
They barely know each other and they're finishing each other's sentences.
For your brother in our garden of remembrance. It's the one with the restful chartreuse curtains and the angels.
Oh, chartreuse.
Chartreuse.
I hope you'll find everything.
He could almost win the British
arrangements
off.
have been impeccable,
Oh,
Mr.
yeah.
Slumber.
He's not even British.
So far.
So James then places the diamonds in there, gets knocked out by Kid and Wint, and then thrown into a casket to be burned alive, which is the brutal way to go.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
If when they find out that he doesn't have the real diamonds and they pull him out of the oven,
Yeah.
they're just talking flat out about how you didn't bring the real diamonds. You screwed us.
Yes.
If they don't care about being heard in there, why did they go to all the like subterfuge of hiding it in the first place?
Makes for a more interesting movie.
No, I understand that. All right. Okay.
But the
No good answer.
So this is our introduction to Shady Tree.
And his acorns.
Well, we don't see his acorns yet.
Do you know who one of his acorns is?
I'm listening.
Valerie Perrine.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
I was just watching her in Superman the other day.
Oh, yeah.
So let's hear a little bit of the
Works those tits in that one.
Yeah, she does. Let's hear a little of the stylings of Shady.
There's scenes in Superman that are about her tits.
Yeah.
That's the subject of the scene.
Her
Miss Tessmacher's
They
tits.
should have gotten those credits that fly up and the
Here's the Lincoln Lounge with Shady Tree and his acorns. Let's hear a little bit of his comedy stylings here.
It's not bad, right?
Yeah.
It's weird to hear anyone really, really trying to make jokes in a James Bond movie. Witticisms is one thing.
I love seeing an old casino.
Yeah. And Sammy Davis Jr. had a scene in this that they cut out.
If he ever finds out what I'm doing to her, it'll be madder than hell. I call these girls my
There she is.
Actually, they're a gift from Willard White, who is upstairs right now somewhere playing Monopoly with real buildings.
Guy's rich.
I try to phone him, but trying to find Willard White is like trying to find a virgin in a maternity ward.
That's very hard to do.
And on behalf of the White House, I want to let you folks know you've been a lousy audience. So get lost. See you later.
Oh, it's one of those 3 jokes acts.
That was his closer. His closer.
You've
was
been
the-
lousy. Good night.
Was that in the maternity ward?
Yeah, that's weird. Why would he introduce the acorn so late in the set? We just saw his whole set.
Yeah. So Shady is now part of this. Everybody that's touching the diamonds is dying, and Mr. Kidd and Mr. Wint are killing them.
Mm-hmm.
So this is now when we find out that Mr. Kidd and Mr. Wint theoretically are working for Willard White or Blofeld at this point.
We don't know.
We don't know.
We just don't know.
We don't know.
But we do know this. When Shady Tree dies, guess what he's wearing? This is something that pops up. This is my own conspiracy theory.
I love it. He's wearing a robe, correct?
Yeah. What kind of robe?
A short robe?
Color?
Blue?
What? Fabric?
Terry cloth?
Yes.
Is it really?
Blue, light blue terry cloth appears in so many of these James Bond movies.
James Bond himself wears it
Yes, and
sometimes.
Goldfinger, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a Guy Hamilton thing.
I think maybe it's like the orange in The Godfather.
Ooh, I like what you're saying here.
No, I can't really back that up.
But one thing we find out, though, is that it's extremely easy to get backstage at a
casino in the 70s.
At a Shady Tree show.
Shabby Tree. Shabby Tree's way better. Now, the introduction of who, for a very long time, was my most favorite of the Bond girls and who I thought was the hottest Bond girl, Lana Wood.
She's dubbed in this, too.
She
Good
is,
luck to you, Mr. Franks. Thank you. I'll
she
have 2
is
stacks now.
maybe the greatest introduction of a girl's name to
Hi, I'm
James.
Plenty.
But of course you are.
Plenty O'Toole.
Named after your father, perhaps?
Would you like some help?
Does that mean that he has a big dick, her father?
I'm
Plenty?
guessing. Yeah.
It's the only thing that could
He
mean.
goes Plenty, and then
Weird.
he looks at her tits, which are great.
She looks good in that dress, but she is like her performance is kind of spazzy. But then you'll see though, like
Spazzy is all hell.
Well, hold
she's
on.
like, how do you even? What is her deal? Like, did she just go to that casino? All just walk up to rich men and try to?
She's the Sharon Stone of this casino.
She's just trying to meet somebody rich and get it on with them and get some money somehow.
Yeah, to me, she
because
seems...
they never ever pull the trigger for reasons we'll see.
Right.
They never ever pull the trigger on her double crossing him,
Yeah.
which is what most women that have sex with him do.
Right. And
she doesn't even get to have sex with him before.
They might as well be at the Tangiers.
So Lana Wood is the best person on Twitter to follow, for my money.
Really?
She'll tweet once every 6 months, and it will be something like, "Thanks, John." Los Angeles, California. That's twice in a row. Hold on.
God.
Where is Leslie Burkuse? I'm leaving for London. What? You got it. Is just a tweet.
just to not to at anybody.
Yes, it's so great. Hey, gorgeous, Mary, and happy to you. NF question mark. Where's that? Sign me up. And
She's just responding to
Here's
things.
the best one. Yes. There's one that just says yes.
I might have to make a Twitter game out of her on At Midnight.
Oh yeah, what is she responding to?
Yeah.
How old is she? She must be up there.
She's gonna be 60.
Too old to be tweeting, probably.
Yeah.
I think that's really all three of us in this room are, in that
not
boat.
for children, man.
We're in that boat.
It's an adult thing.
So Plenty O'Toole, who's just this, she beds high rollers, I guess, right? Just for money, I guess that's sort of her deal.
Now apparently she was getting it on with Connery on set,
But she doesn't.
Good for
sorry.
her.
And then he dropped her to get with Jill St. John.
Oh, interesting.
That's the rumor.
They're just,
That's
they're just method acting the movie.
Was that just the shooting order?
Could have been.
She was in first, and then he was like,
Probably.
"Well, I'm gonna tag this."
Probably.
This could argue. You could argue this was an early stab at trying to make Bond more monogamous because he doesn't he only do Jill St. John in this movie?
Yeah.
The deleted scene, and that's why it makes no sense that she's in her pool when she's dead. She comes back to his hotel room. I don't know if he sleeps.
Oh,
with
this
her or not.
girl?
Yeah.
Well, let's say what happens because this is something I'm very. That's what I was going to mention after it happened. What
when
happens to this
she-
girl? Are we going to watch it?
The pool?
Well, when she gets thrown out of the window, or the next time we see her in a pool.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, let's
Well,
watch
let's
this
hear.
time.
Yeah.
She's
listen, you
she's
can't do
looking
this to
good in
me.
her underwear, and no top, and they drop her out, and did it look like she had something on her feet?
Yeah.
She had slippers or something. Yeah, like flats.
like so that they wouldn't sting so much when she hit. 'Cause that's pretty high to jump in.
There was
There.
a pool down.
So what's
Yeah.
the movie this summer? Some movie lifted this. Was it Iron Man 3
It was
or
Wolverine.
something? Wolverine, that's right. Yeah.
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 Yeah, I saw that in the
Complete,
trailer, and I
and
was like, "Come on."
is
Unless
that,
that's a
like-
nod. Unless that's a nod. Wink, wink.
You got balls.
You could call it an odd, yeah. At least it wasn't the entire script like Shia LaBeouf. At least it was just a moment. The Wolverine has some pretty original stuff in it. I actually liked it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, is that a Doug?
Yeah.
Is that a Doug summer movie recommends?
I liked it too.
Yeah, Doug digs it. I thought it had some really good fight scenes. The scene where they're fighting on top of the bullet train is pretty
I
entertaining.
didn't see it.
It's good. I wish I'd seen it on the big screen. I just watched it on an airplane, and some of the acting is a little wooden because it's a lot of Japanese
Yeah.
characters who English isn't their first.
It's a screening season, and
I did not know pool down there and that kind of thing.
I have yet to see a screener of Wolverine show up.
Oh, really? I've got one from all the guilds.
Did you get a Wolverine screener?
No.
Oh.
But I was going to say, it is pretty weird that they'd have a pool at a hotel in Vegas. It's kind of an anomaly that they were in the one hotel that had a pool that she landed in.
So that took a slow burn. I don't know why that was a slow
I didn't know there
burn.
was a pool down there. Oh, really? Well, That would have been a better scene if there wasn't. I'll say
She's
that.
gonna
Just
have to
watch,
walk to the
watch that
casino.
naked girl just splap.
Circus, brand new at this point.
Yeah, really fancy.
Yeah.
Really top of the line. Now it is
Circus
shithole.
is it is a shithole.
It's my least favorite place on the strip.
I will agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
I will also say this.
Probably hasn't changed much since this.
Don't. I know it'll look tempting to you because you'll see the price tag and it'll say buffet, $7.99. Don't do it, even if you're a little curious. I couldn't eat $8 worth of food there. It was terrible.
good
It's
advice.
the worst
That's
buffet.
good advice. It's terrible.
So Circus, brand new.
Okay, but so the girl, when she gets thrown in the pool,
she swims away.
yeah, but then James Bond is dicking around, talking to people. Yeah, she kind of like, you could see her kind of leaving the pool. But that is the ultimate walk of shame to have just be in your panties wet, no bra, walking through a hotel, and you didn't even fuck the guy. Like,
Yeah.
you didn't even have sex with the guy, and you're walking out of there like...
I think she's okay because
she doesn't come back. Why wouldn't she? Why wouldn't that girl? Was she that scared by the guys that would throw her out the window that she didn't want to go back up there?
She
and
does. They just
risk
cut it.
getting
Yeah.
thrown again.
Yeah.
Because then that's what happens. Is she's the one that ends up dead in the pool. I
Yeah.
didn't even put that
But
together.
it's such a
the
weird
same girl.
leap to make.
Yeah, it's
you
really
can't tell
strange.
it's her.
Yeah, because she's just face down. It's just like, who's this girl that's dead?
Now
in the
I
pool?
have a question for everybody. This is the midway game section of the casino. Children are just running around the casino floor.
It's Circus.
Yeah, I know, but Circus they have the areas separate now. I don't know if that was a thing you
Oh.
could do back then.
I remember going there when you were just kind of had.
Can we have her have her say her
Oh,
line
yeah.
to this kid?
Oh yeah,
When
This is
she
incredible.
when she mysteriously wins the water squirting game without even trying.
Here we are. What a night.
You gotta win 20 times to get that thing.
I saw the whole thing. The machine's fixed. Who's she, your mother? Blow up your pants.
None of that makes sense. Who's she? Your mother?
Your mother. Well, that's a pretty good insult. That's a pretty good insult because that guy looks older than her, so that's pretty.
Blow up
But
your
blow up your pants is
that's
like
a young.
that's
Jeff
why
Goldblum.
isn't he calling for his parents or
Like,
security?
do you think that there was a line where the kid said, "You didn't blow up that balloon," and then she says, "Blow up your pants"? Because that would be the only occasion that would make
vaguely
sense.
sexual too.
It doesn't make any sense. It's like
To me.
you know, it's a bunch of British people standing around making this movie. Who knows? This might not even be inside the real Circus. This might be a set.
No, this
in
is
Pine,
real.
Pine
This is
Tree.
on Pine Tree. They have
That's some British idiom that make him say blow up your pants.
So okay.
You better lay
There's
off
a lot
that
of weird
tutor,
stuff.
Charlie.
Let's come back. Okay, let's come back to this. So, Jill St. John comes back to take the diamonds. She takes the diamonds from the casino, and is going to. Theoretically, she's supposed to meet Peter Franks, right? Who is James Bond at this point. She's supposed to.
We're also burying the lead that you see Connery's bare midriff, and it's this weird gray skin that looks
Yeah.
like some kind of porpoise or something. I don't know. It's just weird to see that much of Connery in his last movie.
Yeah,
you know,
you do see a lot of Connery.
You do,
but in a good way.
Oh, oh,
Tit for tat.
oh.
But here's where I'm confused. James shows up at this house.
That must correspond with this note that I have no clue what the plot is.
He's just hanging out at the pool, and the body's in the pool.
Yeah,
and he's just like.
But she's not expecting
super
to
cash.
see him.
No.
Yeah.
She's expecting to get away with the diamonds, correct?
You're ahead of me if you know.
You've got a lot of guts showing up here. After letting me freeze my behind off at a blackjack table for 2 hours waiting for some non-existent diamonds.
And what the hell is my black wig doing in the pool?
Why was it so cold at the blackjack table?
Nip.
Yeah, she's really.
We're just letting
Plenty
it play.
O'Toole.
Plenty O'Toole is now at cement shoes. Tied
Yeah,
to a
it's some
cement
sort
block.
of thing that's block
Tied to a
that's got
cement
her.
block.
So she was really tied to this thing, and they put her in a place where she could put her head back up, but then the block kept slipping down the slope of the pool, and they had to get her out at one point.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
And especially thinking the way her sister died. Her sister wasn't dead at this point.
Correct.
Yeah, but
so that made you're just being rude.
Well, no, I like Lana.
I'll be
Wood.
weirder.
I like her.
So now this movie takes an interesting turn. Another interesting
Which
turn.
time?
We're now at the airport where I guess this is the final diamond handoff,
Good question.
right? Doug, do you know?
I guess. I don't know.
This is the final diamond handoff. Now, we still at this point have no idea what the diamonds are for,
who's pulling
and
them.
who's
Yeah.
taking them.
Yeah, because it really does go from this kind of smuggling plot to space laser domination.
Yeah,
in
real
like
quick.
That.
Real quick. So now, what happens... Okay, so let's... by the way, I'd just like to point out again, look at McCarran Airport undeveloped.
Yeah, that's
it's insane.
Tiny little airport.
So we're seeing James in an American car. He's got the they got the Mustang Mach 1, and then
They
have
run this whole scam at the gas station.
Now, this is interesting.
Where she
So-
gets in the way on purpose.
I gotta hear Tutor Charlie.
He leaves. Willard
Bert
White's
Saxby.
right-hand man, Bert Saxby, leaves, and then exchanges cars with...
Willard White's right-hand man.
Which I said.
Yeah.
Exchanges cars with the German laser doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
German laser doctor, yeah.
So who's probably pretty pissed he's doing lackey
Willard
work
White
like
hasn't
this.
set foot out of there in 3 years, and no one has seen him. No one.
That's just, they just changed the sign. on
That
the
elevator's
Hilton.
still there, by the way.
Is it really?
The
What
outside
is that
elevator.
now? What is that?
It's a Hilton?
No, it's the Las Vegas Hotel.
Oh, yeah.
They
Oh,
lost the
yeah.
Hilton branding.
Yeah.
Oh.
You pay for this?
Cut him off.
And here comes the most, I would say, most annoying performance in a James Bond movie.
Tutor Charlie?
It's pretty obnoxious.
And I feel bad for the gas station attendant.
Hey, Curly, what about my stamps?
Where are you going? Are you mad? Let me by. Stamps? You ain't got no gas
Like,
yet.
he didn't even notice yet that someone was pulling up behind him. He could have just backed up
Well, back it up.
instead of calling her mad. What, are you insane?
Now, the person behind him says nothing to the 6'2" Scottish gentleman sneaking into the back of the other man's van.
Yeah. Somehow, James Bond, this is enough of a distraction that he can get into a van.
We gotta hear that one more time, guys. We're gonna need silence just for the
Oh, yeah.
for the magic of Jill St. John.
Let me by. Stamps? You ain't got no gas yet. Okay?
Okay, so shove a couple gallons in.
Same
back it
tone
up.
every time.
Here it is.
Keep leaning on that tutor, Charlie, and you're gonna get a shot in the mouth.
Come on, lady. Move it. Oh, okay, lady. You
Wonderful
win.
cameo
You
by
win.
I love that that's his reaction when she's threatening violence. The other guy's like, well, I'll try.
Come on, lady.
Come on, get it out of there.
Will someone move that car?
She's the
Do
first
what he
American Bond girl.
And then he gets in there. Yes.
Yeah.
Very true statement.
says.
Yeah, it's so bizarre that he gets in there and nobody seems to
I
care.
wanted high test. Forget it, Curly. You had your chance and you blew it.
He's really frustrated.
That's the noise that this gentleman would be making if you could hear him.
This might have been the one where they sort of turned towards there's a lot of kind of wacky reaction shots through the rest of the history of James Bond.
There really is.
That's one of the best things they got rid of with Daniel Craig is they don't really have people doing double takes at
Now here's
James
some
Bond's
some of my favorite.
They had one
Oh,
in
no.
Skyfall, though, didn't
There
they?
w- No.
That couple, that's in the train station, and he jumps on, and they go.
Oh
like,
yes, they did.
Oh look, he's in a hurry.
Yeah.
Which James Bond, the Skyfall, I loved. Saw it 9 times, and then I interrupted it with Doug, and then I saw all of its flaws. If you ever want to not like a movie anymore, go ahead and interrupt it with Doug Benson.
Sit with the microphone in the front row, make your jokes, and
you'll see all the flaws.
never want to watch it again.
Here's some good. I think some good spying.
Yeah,
this is some good spying
Klaus
right here.
Hergesheimer from G Section.
So James sees this gentleman now. He runs out because he needs to get in that door as well, and then he does a bit of business.
Hello.
Hi.
Haven't seen you here before.
I'm Klaus Hergesheimer.
You're here.
I've been here 3 years. G-section.
How are things in G-section?
Still the same old grind, you know. Checking radiation shields for replacement. Hey, by the
So I
way,
slipped in there with him. It's pretty
where's
clever.
yours?
So he's checking radiation. So Carl
there's
Hergenschleimer.
there's a story behind this that the director, anytime he didn't know what something was called, he'd call it a Hergesheimer, and the screenwriter put that in there for him.
Oh, that's fun.
Klaus Hergesheimer.
So now James
But
is,
Hergesheimer also has a bunch of extra badges or cards,
Sure,
and he
he
goes,
has,
"Here, I keep extra. You can have one."
and now he sees. Finally, we see where the diamonds are going. They're going to the German gentleman, and now James found a lab coat.
He's just gonna see how he fits.
Who are you?
in.
What you want?
Klaus Hergesheimer, G-section. Just checking on radiation shields. Now, let me see. You are...
Professor Dr. Metz. Our
Professor Doctor.
Jeez, pick a career, asshole.
I'm sorry. It won't take a moment.
Professor Doctor.
Professor Dr. Schlesch. who's a doctor of lasers. And then I guess we'll talk about the moon situation.
For listeners, Matt just put his hands.
I like he's over there. He's over there behind the rock. Is something you don't hear often in James Bond movies.
Also, someone has already emailed in about this, about how he drives through and the spacemen on this practice set are moving.
They're all moving like they're in real space.
Yes.
Their method are about being in fake space.
It's so strange.
They're Stanislavski
It's such a weird thing. If you can Google,
Because they even try to chase him a little.
if you listen to this podcast without watching the movies, I know some of you do that, but I highly recommend just at least Googling this scene.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
I should see.
So Google this scene and just take a look, because this is 1971 or 72, right?
71, I think.
71. This is 2 years after we finally landed on the moon, and already the chariots of the gods people have started saying, "Oh, we never got to the moon."
Yeah.
So this is a little nod to that whole moon conspiracy situation. Whereas these gentlemen, it appears that they're just. You're hearing the alarm sound?
They're in the middle of some sort of simulation or something, or
Yeah, I don't know what
practicing
it
for
is.
pretending to be on the moon. But then when he runs by them, stop him!
They're going so
slow. I can't move, and he doesn't even turn around when he gets past him.
It's the most ridiculous thing you will ever see.
And
in a
then he
movie.
jumps in the dumbest looking vehicle. It looks like the
And,
Pope Mobile.
Let's see how much trouble James has starting this
He
moon
can work
buggy.
any.
He hits
look
F,
at that.
G3.
1, 2, 3, go.
Cops are coming.
I mean, there were buttons in there that say 1, 2, and 3 on them.
RL. He knows how to work the claw.
Yeah.
And
that's the first joystick ever.
There he goes through the moon.
Through the fake
And
moon
here we
out
are
into the street.
And here we are to a chase scene with no scoring.
Yeah, it's just silent for a long. They put some in after a while.
Yeah.
But
I was really counting the moments of like, how long are they going to chase around with no music and
once the bikes show up, there's a little sting.
Yeah, then they go dee 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 dee. But it is the most boring chase. Everything's moving really slow. That guy fell over for no reason.
Hey, how do you want to score this desert car chase, John Barry? Xylophones, I think. Just little xylophone taps.
Yeah, it sounds like fucking somebody suspicious is walking down the street on
Streets of San
Housewives, Desperate Housewives.
Oh, yeah.
What's Terry Hatcher up to now?
She just won Celebrity Chopped, Doug. 2
No,
weeks
I
ago.
mean that's what this music's playing. That's when she's standing in somebody's rose bushes, looking in the window.
He's having the most fun of his life.
He's pulling a De Niro there.
It's probably super hot in that thing, and he doesn't want to be there. I think the whole time he doesn't want to be there.
No, I think that's pretty clear.
Do
you know another person that was up for this role was Michael Gambon? You know that guy?
Michael Gambon, yeah.
And he turned it down because his quote was, "I've got tits like a woman." And he didn't want to get in shape.
Michael Gambon, again, for fans of Top Gear, which is a British motoring show. One of the corners is named Gambon because Michael Gambon nearly flipped his car over going around it.
Oh.
So this is the first instance of what will become a semi-tradition for the next few movies, which is a yokel sheriff.
Oh,
yeah. He really tangles with a lot of redneck law enforcement.
He says
Listen, you can
he
drop
says
me
something
off
very
the next
interesting
corner.
here.
This whole thing is getting a little out of hand. No regrets, but when you start stealing moon machines from Willard White, goodbye and good luck.
Just relax. I have a friend named Felix who can fix anything.
Is he married?
What does that mean?
I don't know. Here it
There
is.
goes that son of a bitch and saboteur.
Son of a bitch and saboteur. Words that would never be said together.
Yeah.
What did he sabotage? The moon machine?
fake moon
must
thing.
have
Yeah.
an APB
He's a son of a
out for
bitch. He
him,
was ruining the fake moon landing.
Son of a bitch and saboteur. Now, this, of course, is the very famous scene here. The very famous thing they fucked up here is the Mustang going in on one side and coming out on the other side.
It's weird though. They try to justify it a little bit with like kind of a weird shot of the two of them, where it looks like it's flipping back the other way.
that's how they did it.
Yep. So,
but it's so weird.
But before I knew about this, I didn't think.
I never
it was
noticed
weird.
it either.
It's obviously wacky, but
Well, I mean, if you just look, there's no.
I saw this movie so much early on. I think I caught it at one
you
point.
caught that, but not that they were gay.
Yeah, it's the weird priorities as a kid.
Cop car flips over.
Yeah.
And then a very adorable.
But see, they do this thing
Yeah.
where it looks like he switches it.
Yep.
Yeah.
In the tiny alley. And so why didn't he just switch back to
Famous
flat?
Pioneer, guys.
Yeah.
Still there. Still there.
Is it?
Yep.
Yeah, I stayed in this.
Yeah,
is
that's
this what's called downtown
Yeah,
Vegas?
the
Right?
downtown
It
experience.
looks very
Old
much the
Vegas.
same.
Yeah, now they have a roof over that one part, and
Yep.
then
Oh, yeah.
people can rappel or whatever. Zip line.
Oh, the most uncomfortable bed ever made.
Yeah, they're sleeping on an aquarium. They're sleeping on the side of an aquarium, essentially. So now, this movie.
You all right?
This
You
movie gets. This movie gets to me a little bit.
Yeah.
I enjoy watching it, and I'll watch it forever.
Is this like a reverse of last week, where I'll try to?
No, I don't think it's nearly as bad as you thought.
I don't.
Tomorrow Never Dies.
I
is.
didn't think it was that bad.
Or you incorrectly hated Tomorrow Never
Just
Dies.
kidding.
But this outdoor elevator that James rides up to the top of the Las Vegas Hilton.
What purpose does it serve riding on top of it? Like, what does he?
Well,
other than drawing attention to
can't get
himself, why is
into
there a man on
He
top?
can't get out of his hotel room because Felix has put 2 guards outside of it, and rather than knocking out,
So he
CIA
climbs
dogs,
onto the elevator.
He goes
and presumably
outside.
he couldn't get into the penthouse either.
Right. Well, he
from
can't
the
get
inside.
out. I'm sure. Yeah.
But anyway, he's not concerned about whether or not there's some sort of flap to get inside the elevator. He's just chilling out on top, not even taking into account how close to the roof the top of the elevator
Yeah.
gets at the end of
Literally
the ride.
chilling. Look at his stance.
Yeah,
Also
but then when he gets up there, he's kind of like, "Oh, didn't think this through.
Yeah.
I better crouch down a lot."
But then we see.
Look, okay. Oh, well. That's
some very
What
solid
if this?
seconds.
What if I
should
just get
probably,
smashed? Oh, well.
This is
Oh,
much closer.
oh, okay. Well,
It's very close.
Oh, it stopped just in time.
I could have died right there.
Now, Guy, is that going to hit me in my head?
This is a great.
And this is a little reminiscence of the old
Her
Skyfall.
Majesty's Secret. Oh, that
Skyfall.
too. Oh, yeah.
The
look at
Skyfall
that.
elevator hang.
Oh, same shot. The Skyfall elevator hang. And now performing the Skyfall elevator hang.
Sean
Mitch
Connery.
Gaylord.
Ooh, Mitch Gaylord. I love his hang.
A lot of heroes in
bet.
action movies they're not afraid of.
They're not afraid of heights.
elevator
They're not
shafts.
afraid of. They're not afraid of what I would call the most terrifying looking stunt that we've ever
Die
seen in a
Hard.
James
It's
Bond.
the action hero's best friend, the elevator shaft.
This man. I did, by the way, really enjoy the sound. That's perfectly loud enough, and it echoes correctly. That's some good sound work.
Now,
finally.
this is like a little set backdrop
Yes.
or something they did. The little miniatures, right?
I think so. That's the old
Pretty
strip,
impressive.
guys. Look at
It's
the
pretty
old
impressive.
neon strip, and then he unhooks one. It's insane.
Yeah.
That is insane.
Yeah.
And what is he
Why
doing?
did he unhook one?
Because he's got to swing over to something. He's got to. He then does the whole. I'm gonna climb up.
Oh, and then he drops in the restroom, right, where it has odd yellow toilet paper.
Yeah.
You don't want yellow toilet paper.
I remember yellow toilet paper. Do you remember yellow toilet
I do
paper?
too,
In the early
yeah.
80s,
Yeah,
70s, and
but-
early 80s.
That's your
You
message.
don't remember yellow toilet paper,
No,
Doug?
no, I'm afraid a personal appearance is quite out of the question.
So what we're hearing is
I'll
Blofeld
send a deputation
talking
to the
with this
committee.
different voice.
Thank you, Governor.
And now he sees James Bond.
Well, that's a neat trick.
A voice box, Mr. Bond.
Oh, that's why
Science
James
was
Bond
never
come to
my
it
strong
later.
suit, but the principle's easy enough. Someone's voice patterns and resonance stored in a small oral signature tape. A miniature transistorized version is installed in his neck. Or is it his neck? I never can remember. Anyway, no matter. We both
Which one of us is the real one?
We don't even know.
Now, is this...
What, Matt? Get it out.
I just don't...
It's okay.
Why does he have the doubles right now?
Because he made one before, and what's he going to do with
What
it?
do you-
He's got to keep him
like,
pinned
what's
down.
Hang out with
happening?
his doubles.
Yeah, he can't.
So there were going to be at least...
Doubles should be like kind of like trying to sneak away. Like they probably they got to know that they're there just to be sacrificed.
Right? It just doesn't.
Yeah.
None of this makes sense to me. So, anyway, he discovers.
This plot is bonkers. It doesn't make any sense.
So
But
James.
that's not why you watch this movie.
Some exposition happens here where
My congratulations to you both. Oh, nice little company.
Explosives? Oil?
I'm tired of layers. I've seen plenty of layers.
There are 50% of Bond movies you should just give up on the plot like 20 minutes in because you can't enjoy
I
it.
do so enjoy our little visits, Mr. Bond. However potentially painful they may be. But I'm afraid this one has come to an end.
What do you intend to do with those diamonds?
An excellent question.
We missed
And
the
one
part
which
where
will be
he had
hanging on the lips of the
to give
world,
up his hog leg.
If I were to...
Did that happen yet?
What?
Where they when they go to take James Bond's gun, they say you're going to need to give us your hog leg.
Oh, does that happen at the house?
That happens up here.
I think it's here. Yeah,
It happens
I think
in
we
the-
missed it.
Let's hear that. Doug
Your
wants to hear it. We can
hog
hear it.
I guess
he says it
before
in
he
a
goes
way
in there.
Willard White would say it. I guess.
Oh, is that the
it's
idea
in,
of it?
It's in the can.
So James has landed in a toilet, a swiveling toilet situation, right?
Oh yeah, I guess he would say hog leg. That's fun. I just thought
He's
it was.
very
I just thought it
confused.
was weird.
And then he hits a button that says
The weirdest remote
Toilet?
control.
Yeah.
Howdy, welcome, son. We've been expecting you. You got any personal business to take care of in there, you go right ahead.
Is he telling him to shit or masturbate in there?
Leg. Would you mind
Hello.
standing up and taking it off?
Hog leg. Oh, sorry, I stepped on it.
That's all right. Well, here we go.
If you got your
First, I
hog leg.
suspect you're wearing a hog leg. Would you mind standing up and taking it off?
Hog leg. What is a hog leg?
It's a gun.
I thought it was a dick.
No, it's a gun.
Oh, because it looks like a hog leg.
I just who knows why it's
I
called
want
that,
the
but-
etymology
Looks like
of
a
that.
like a back end of a hog,
Yeah,
right?
like a
Okay.
haunch.
All right. So James is then at any point here could have been killed by Blofeld, but is instead put into an elevator where he is gassed and
Yeah, why don't they just scorpion him?
Jesus.
Do they run out of scorpions?
Well, he's gassed, and then Mr. Kidd and Mr. Wint are there to take him to the desert where they will
They're just
put
supposed
him.
to get rid of the body now?
Yeah, but they put him in a pipe.
But they don't even kill
Yeah,
him.
they put him in a
kill him.
pipe where that they know it's going to be filled with dirt some at another time.
They don't
Yeah.
even leave him for dead. They leave him for escape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And James gets out by shorting out something that is cleaning the pipe.
I think it's
Your
a
turn to
rat
play
killer.
Hunchback.
Oh, is that what it is? I do enjoy James coming out of here.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I was just out walking my rat and I seem to have lost my way.
And my rat. Lost my rat also.
How does he get? Oh, I imagine he has to ask them for a ride
Yeah.
back to town.
Yeah.
Sure. But I don't know. I just
Give me a lift, sailor.
some of the stuff, something I find fascinating, and I actually did it when we get to Live and Let Die. I found the street corners that are outside, and I've taken pictures of them on Google Street View that have all the Harlem locations to see what they look like now.
Wow.
And I find that kind of thing interesting just to see how underdeveloped. This is 1971.
Yeah.
And Vegas has
Look at there's one building in
there's
that
one building
entire.
and what's
panorama.
interesting too is I think here-ish wasn't the Sands right there?
Was?
I think the Sands was still there when they made this movie.
The Sands is the last stop on the monorail, right? The monorail goes through here. Anyway, this is long before the Star Trek experience got there.
Yes, way before.
Willard White speaking.
This is Bert.
They're in Bert Saxby's office.
We got a problem.
Now they're both using fake voices to talk to each other.
Except he turns his off like, well, there's no need to.
Matter with your
Oh,
voice,
okay.
Bud? Have you got a cold?
Matter with your voice, Bud.
Come on, yeah, fix it.
Never mind about that.
Look what he fixes. He just puts.
I just saw
metal
James
on
Bond in the casino.
Look at his tiny pink tie.
Yeah, well, you come and have a look for yourself. Hey, listen. If he's half
It's so,
the
it's
genius
so
they
weird
say he
watching
is,
him
we're in for real
lip
trouble.
sync.
Now, calm down, Bud.
Well, it's a cinch he's not working alone. This place must be crawling with agents by now. I think we should move Willard White.
Nonsense, Mr. White is perfectly safe at his own summer house.
It's on the ridge, about 10 miles out of town.
Thanks for saying that.
Perfectly safe in his own summer house.
Mm-hmm.
Why would Blofeld say that?
Also,
Well, he thinks he's talking to.
But still,
you don't have a summer house when you live on the Vegas Strip. Your summer house is just somewhere else in Vegas in the
Yeah.
desert,
right?
Yeah.
You don't want to go to.
I got to be further
Now,
out in the desert
at the
because
time
it's summer.
of-
I want to cool off.
At the time of this movie getting made, who was in the penthouse at the Hilton? Was it?
Do you? How would I know?
It was.
that? I don't know.
I think it was. I think Elvis was living up there.
Oh
at
my
the time.
God! Wow. It wasn't Rita Rudner.
It was not Rita Rudner,
okay.
not yet.
Because it goes Rita Rudner, Carrot Top.
Yeah, that's the
David
hierarchy
Blaine.
of local work. Local references get you local work. Welcome to Las Vegas. We're having fun here. It's the, now.
Look at his tiny pink tie.
Well,
Look
now
at that
it's
little thing.
Terry Fator, right? Or Fator? The
Fader?
The Fader. The
the ventriloquist?
The non-racist ventriloquist.
But still, look at his tiny pink tie. Look at that little thing.
It's adorable, and it's very
goes
of the
2/3
it's
down
very of the
his chest.
time.
No, it's good. It's a good tie to be wearing when you get beat up by two women.
First,
This is Bambi and
we're
Thumper.
gonna have a ball.
He goes out to the house, so he's on the side of this guy, and yet he has two henchwomen who are basically just start beating the shit out of him and try to kill him.
I think they're
Blofeld's
Blofeld's ladies.
They are.
him prisoner.
Oh, they're keeping him in
Yeah.
there. Okay.
They're keeping him from coming out.
Right.
Now, there's a move here that makes no
Is
fucking
it Bambi's
sense.
dance that
Bambi's
she turns
little
around?
split.
They talk about that.
Oh, yeah?
The director was like, I need you to make sense of this. She goes, well, I'll put some dance moves in. And she basically takes some time to do some dance moves that aren't even an assault.
Yeah.
Misses?
Doing a weird
Right
kick
here.
and the splits.
Right here.
Looking back at him. Turning around. Like she's like feral or something.
It is the most ridiculous
She's presenting
situation.
in a way.
Now, of course, we James,
And he gets the best of them quite easily in the pool. He just suddenly can hold them both down.
But then we see the heir to the Jimmy Dean sausage fortune.
Jimmy Dean.
Jimmy Dean himself is here.
Yeah.
Who I would
playing
think
this
would
guy.
have a beard or something. Unless he's fine. Or he just finished up in the bathroom.
I think they're letting him live
Yeah.
comfortably.
They let him shave and stuff.
FBI? CIA?
No, British intelligence.
What strange
Like James
casting.
Bond.
Why?
I think he's great.
Well, I do too, but
I think Jimmy Dean's great
But
in
that's
this.
the other thing with this movie is it's got some really strange casting, maybe inspired.
I think he, of all the peripheral characters in this movie, I think he gives the best, most convincing performance.
The oddest thing, in my opinion, in this movie is about to happen.
Oh, shall I hit play?
Yeah. I mean, after they're done with him.
Friend Bambi and Thumper. Yes.
See, he called them their friends, so I always thought that was just his security.
Was it the elephant thing? Is that what you're talking about? What the oddest thing?
No. It's coming later, not right away.
Well,
here's Q ripping off the casino.
Q's ripping off the casino. He's just going slot machine to slot machine.
Are you
It's
having
weird
any
that he's in Vegas and still doesn't have a scene with James
I
Bond.
know.
Listen, Mr.
And she
Q,
just knows him. They're fast
I was
friends
wondering,
now.
Yeah,
have you
how did
heard
that
any-
happen?
Yeah.
No,
when did they
scene
meet?
where they really hooked up.
I also like that she just keeps referring to him as Mr. Q.
Yeah.
Talk about me from Felix or James?
No, I'm afraid not.
Well, I guess I'm working for the good guys now, but I'm still only 2 steps away
This
from
is
the
the
slammer
worst
if they want me
exposition.
there. I thought you might be able to put in a good word.
This had to be a reshoot.
Oh, she's on like probation or parole or something? Wow, he's making them all win, but he's not taking any of the money.
That's unbelievable.
An electromagnetic
Yeah, show it off.
RPM
Show it to the
controller.
cameras.
Been aching to give it a try. You see,
Q is no longer allowed in Nevada.
pressure on the case here
Oh, is
when
this
the
what you're talking
desired
about?
symbols appear. This causes the rotation of the cylinders to stutter
does she know
at just
that?
the precise moment needed to...
Bond.
Right? How does she know that? By the way,
She sees Blofeld dressed as a woman.
great outfit.
Yeah.
Tights and shorts.
You're talking about Blofeld?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the thing that I was referring to. Is when she gets in this fucking cab and he's this
Cab lady?
crazy hideous.
He looks like what I'm assuming when the Monty Python reunion happens.
Yeah.
He looks like what they will look like in drag.
Well. Look what the cat dragged in.
Look at that.
I'm
It's
delighted
so
to meet
weird.
you, Miss Case.
Oh, my God.
I'd so dreaded the prospect of making this tedious
And the cat
journey.
did drag her in.
Hello.
That's how she decided to follow.
Which makes his line.
Yeah, it's good. Really
To make the most
accurate.
sense.
Solid movie, friends.
So now they're heading out. I just want to play a little bit of Jimmy Dean, just because I really think he does a good job of being the guy in charge, finally coming back to his company. Hell of a Western suit with a leather
Yeah, I also
shoulders.
found something really interesting in the background.
It's right here. But 6 feet high, with a solar panel.
Oh, no, it's later.
They had these aerofoils that seemed to draw it for me.
Like, just
Was
boom.
Dr. Metz on your payroll, Mr. White?
No, but I heard of him. Everybody in our business has. The world's leading expert on laser refraction. A committed
There's gotta be one.
idealist to peace. And how in the hell Blofeld got his hooks in him, I will never know. How did he get security clearance to work here in the first place?
Well, from you, sir. I talked to you personally about it. I even recognized your voice just now.
I'm sure I must have told you not to keep the usual duplicate microfilm records of the project.
Exactly, sir.
Tom, what did I tell you to do with this?
Send it to Vandenberg, sir.
Well, get him on the phone now.
Great. I think that's some solid
Okay.
fucking character acting right there.
All right.
For a sausage
Doug,
king,
you don't
yeah.
enjoy that?
Don't
You like a good breakfast sausage?
Don't really appreciate
You like a good
any
breakfast
of
sausage?
what was going on just now.
Do you like a good breakfast sausage?
His are all right.
I'd eat one right now.
I like his turkey breakfast sausage.
That's okay.
I also enjoyed that he was in his commercials. So they're figuring it out.
The first laser beam is generated through a diamond, and if old Metz deserves 1/10 of his reputation, the power of that thing could be incredible.
And Blofeld's got it.
And now we're in space.
Of course we are.
Second James Bond movie to feature a space scene, but not the last.
No. Hardly.
So, they now have to figure out where he is. James Bond. This is how they figure
Large
it out.
or small?
Conceivably, any size from 6-inch to a cassette.
Well, assuming you're still using your empire as a cover,
Boy, all right, they
Blofeld could
figure
be
out he's
anywhere
on
on
a
this map.
oil rig.
From Alaska to Florida, from Maine to Oregon, from Texas to Baja California.
What'd you say?
Baja? I haven't got anything in Baja.
God, I love how frustrated he is. Why am I so infatuated with the character of Willard White? I don't know.
You know what? Go
Yeah,
for it,
I
man.
dig it.
Embrace it.
Yeah, I'm glad,
Embrace it.
He's great.
Glad somebody gets some joy out of it.
Yeah.
So he's on an oil rig.
Then he goes out in this stupid ball that you run in on the water. Like, where did it start off from? And how is he not all out of shape and he's got a fucking suit on? He's not sweating inside that stupid ball. But then Jill St. John.
That's when they figure out he brought the Marching Man cassette, which he
This
hid
is the wrong
in his-
cassette, but this is the best. This is amongst the best
Proud to have the aim of my crew affected
thing
by
to
the
do
silent
with
rebellion.
the
No
Bond
word
girl
yet from
is have
any-
her hide the evidence on her ass.
Okay, wait. Go, look right there. That sign behind them there in Blofeld's oil rig command center just says, "If in doubt, ask."
Also, no smoking.
Kansas, the world may not hear about it for years.
Excuse me, are you planning to take over the world? Well, it says over there. If I should just ask.
Chance for a fresh start. Washington, D.C. Perfect. Since we have not heard from them, they will hear from us. See to it, Metz.
Washington, right.
20 seconds and counting.
When does James come up to her and say "bitch"?
Oh, does he? Oh, when he kind
Suddenly
of
become tiresome, Mr.
when he
Bond.
puts the cassette on her ass. Like, it's funny. He's you know.
Guy. Oh, wait, go back.
Oh, you're talking about the countdown guy?
The Count Dracula countdown guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get to him.
But they're also they're like, take him away or whatever, and he just kind of walks around talking to her, like he just does a bunch of stuff as they're throwing him out.
Facilities. Your chance to see the real tape once again.
Oh, he goes. I think it's.
She just keeps going. Yeah, keep going.
It's such a weird. It's
Yeah,
an
here it
interesting
comes.
delivery.
Here it
Yeah.
comes. See, they're saying, okay, let's go, and then he just walks over to the girl.
Yeah.
Like he just free reign. Just do whatever you want before we leave.
And he
Say
just-
goodbye.
He just leans in, and this is what Sean Connery says.
Yeah.
Oh fuck! I missed it, guys.
Oh, what's happening?
Oh god! Oh god!
We're seeing too much of
Your problems are all behind you now.
Which is a pretty good line. And you put a cassette tape on her ass. Cassette, more like asset.
It's
countdown.
10 minutes and counting.
I can't hear enough of that.
Do you think this is where?
Okay, so he says throw him in the brig. And this is how quickly they move. They let him wander over here.
And also the brig is a paint closet.
He's yeah.
Here he is. He's going to say it. Ready?
No pollution, not any.
What did that say?
Take every precaution.
No pollution, not any. Okay.
Bitch.
Bitch.
Also, I will make the
Bitch.
case that from where she begins as a smart diamond smuggler, she turns into an absolute simpleton by the end of this movie.
Yeah.
There's a point where she just goes, yee!
Yeah.
Remember at the boat fight?
Oh, yeah. We'll get to that in
Yeah,
a
the
second.
fight is great.
Yeah.
Her reaction's great. Then there's another funny reaction.
So
in
James,
that fight.
James switches the tape, hands her the real tape. She switches it back in a comedy of errors, and then James calls her a twit, which I thoroughly enjoyed.
That's when he's really mad, he calls her a twit. When he's faking, he calls her a bitch.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing.
Here she comes. Pushes the guy.
I did it.
And he's
I
cool
switched
with
the
that.
tape
Yeah.
in the machine.
You stupid twit, you put the real one back in.
Come on.
Why are those guys concerned about it, but the other guy?
Yeah, he didn't mind her pushing him or anything.
Then we have a series of the worst optical explosions you've ever seen in film.
Counting.
With Mr. Bob. What a pity. Such nice cheeks, too.
Nice cheeks.
And counting.
And this guy goes, and this guy goes and goes.
She does a little rappelling, zip lining.
Set it up early.
One more word, Metz, and I'll have you shot. Get back to your post.
Oh, when he had the wig on, they should have called him Flofeld.
My babu sub immediately.
Would you call it a baboo sub?
I don't know.
I was really hoping we'd hear more counting.
All right.
1 minute.
So then there's a big fight.
Big fight. Then James plays around with Blofeld in a submarine.
And we never see what happens to him except he's on the thing when it blows up.
Yeah.
He's just operating more machinery that he's never seen or touched before.
Yeah, at least he has a little difficulty this time. But then, guys, don't worry. We haven't seen Mr. Kid and Mr. Win for a while. And,
Yeah, I nothing made me happier
Must
in a
be some
James Bond
mistake.
film
I
than these
didn't
guys
bother.
showing up again, because you like them enough that you like them, but you also weren't thinking that there would be more of them after the villain, after Blofeld was dispatched.
Because you think, oh, we've killed the main
like,
villain.
why are they going to
Yeah.
keep coming after him?
They
that's
tried
something
this
they
in,
always do.
Tomorrow Never Dies.
They do
You're
this-
left with Stamper.
they do
Well,
this
then
in
later,
Goldfinger.
Nick Knack did it
Yeah.
in
Every time. Every time.
Well, no, Oddjob gets killed before Goldfinger.
Yeah, Goldfinger's the last to die in that one.
but Oddjob's, he's left with Oddjob. Goldfinger gets away and he's left with Oddjob. This happens. Jaws is always left around.
Yeah.
The guy that may or may not be supernatural in Live and Let Die is left around.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Baron Samedi.
it's very it's continuous.
No
These guys
mistake,
don't get
sir.
left around.
On the specific instructions and with the compliments of Mr.
They're like, we got away with this once.
Oysters on the loose.
She turns into an absolute simpleton
Ashley.
in this scene.
It's funny too when James Bond is in the back of the trunk, he smashes this guy's perfume.
Yeah,
Gets
And
in the
that's how
back
he
of the
smells
trunk,
it.
and so that's how he's like, he spent all that time in the trunk smelling that horrible perfume. So then he recognizes it here.
But
it's funny that they put so much effort into that twist, which has nothing to do with the story.
They put as
really.
much effort into the twist as they did into this cake bomb situation.
Yeah, a dessert
where they
called a bomb.
Where they have decided they have this fake cake situation, but they've also decided to put fake frosting around it.
Yeah.
While having fake frosting around this, instead of just having a bomb, pulling this up and putting it in there, they've prepared another tray.
Yeah, but
with
not
fake
another
frosting.
top.
Correct.
Yeah, it's
Why
weird.
would they bother? And then he sets this here instead of setting it before he goes in.
Yeah,
But
they've
wait-
got two different trays with a fake or a real
Right.
frosting bottom.
We just got to hear her go, "Ee."
Yeah. She's already done it.
It's when he walks at her with the
Yeah.
Her takes in this
selection.
It's bizarre.
And this is
I
the
would judge
second
it
time James.
That's rather potent.
I like
really-
him figuring this all out and really like,
Strong enough to bury anything.
instead of jumping up and starting to stop them, he'd rather like let them absolutely know he knows who they are.
He's so
Wine is
confident.
quite excellent. Although for such a grand meal, I had rather expected a claret.
Of course.
Well, that told him.
Unfortunately,
And she's making eyes like she thinks that he should be treating them this way.
She's making eyes like, I can't believe I get to fuck the guy that knows everything about wine.
This guy's
I
really
can't wait to see
giving
what
it
he
to
knows
them.
about sex.
These
Mouton
dumb
Rothschild is a
servers.
claret.
Ooh.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
And I've smelt that aftershave before, and both times I've smelt a rat.
And then he does.
Lights
he
it on fire,
lights
yeah.
up his
Oh,
kebabs.
here it
He has
is.
to walk all the way over there.
That's it. There's so much death coming at her, and she looks like she's seen a cockroach.
Strangled.
She just moves back.
This is weird.
Being approached by two flaming, essentially flaming swords.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got two flaming kebabs coming right at her. James Bond's getting. Unfortunately, it's an interesting approach. Go after the guy that's not strangling him. Kill that
She's
guy.
like a cat. She
She does this weird wall thing. She later he just dives over the side on fire, which is also strange. I mean, I guess it puts it out, but that doesn't mean he's probably still alive, just badly
he
burned.
could come back.
Yeah.
I could use a little Mr. Kid
Yeah.
Daniel Craig movie.
Let's have him show up. And she picks
And then
up the
she
bomb.
picks up the real...
like all the
bomb,
things she
rather,
could
yeah.
pick up and throw.
What is this going to do
And
to
she
him?
hurls it way over his head.
This is some excellent...
And then this takes so long to organize
up.
tying this up.
Pulls up the necklace he had with, I believe, his perfume on it. Pulls it up behind him. Then attaches the bomb to...
And then he likes it. He's smiling for a second. Like you
Because all
pulled my
gay
hand up
people are
between my
so
legs.
twisted that they would
Yeah.
love to be killed in a gay way.
Yeah.
Straps the bomb
Well, he doesn't know about the bomb.
and flips him
or
over in
his
an
ability to
amazing,
flip him
an
into the air.
amazing flip. Blows up.
Blows up in the
They
air.
shot that with a trampoline. He runs by, and they cut it right before he...
He's certainly left with his tails between his legs.
That's not
What
the
a
great,
great
that's not the
ending.
greatest line, but that is a great scene that
God.
those guys
That is the greatest ending to a
come
James
after
Bond
him.
movie
That might be.
ever.
That might be.
I
That might
love
be.
this
Yeah,
movie.
because it's just fun seeing those guys through the whole movie and then
Oh my
and then
God.
just get dispatched.
I want to
quite
just see an
handily.
edit of just the Winton Kid scene. So that's its own movie.
Right. That's so funny.
Because usually he ends up going off with the girl and just getting laid. But
Yeah.
this one you don't even see them in bed together. They just-
They repeat this with Knick Knack. That's what they do. He shows up at the end. In
yeah,
Man with the Golden
yeah,
Gun.
Man with the Golden. He
Yeah.
shows up and then he puts him in the suitcase up on the mast.
Get me down, get me down. I'm in the cold lift.
I like that one a
Riviera-
lot. I like the Man with the Golden
The
Gun.
Riviera, the Sands, the Dunes, the Landmark, the International Hotel, the Tropicana, the Mint, and Circus Circus.
It's not drafty up here.
It's
please.
practically the same ending with a girl in a bikini running around trying to help him in the lair. And it's Britt Eklund in that
Oh,
one.
yeah.
One little thing I found over the week that I wanted to share with you guys both. I found online that in 2001 or 2002 rather, they released a Frasier soundtrack
Okay,
that
I'm
has
wondering
music
where
from
you're going
the
with this.
music from television show Frasier. They also have clips of every time they decided to sing on the show, and I remembered this. They're trying to figure out a song they know.
Goldfinger. He's the man with the Midas touch. He's the man with the Midas touch. A spider's touch. A spider's
Who's playing
touch.
piano?
Such a cold
A guy in the bar who only knows 3 songs: "Happy Birthday," "America the Beautiful," and "Goldfinger."
Oh, come on, sing it. Such a cold finger beckons you to enter his web of sin. That's it. But don't go in.
That's awesome.
And that is the Goldfinger track from the Frasier CD that is called "Tossed Salad and Scrambled Eggs and Other Frasier Favorites."
Oh, I remember that song.
Yeah.
That's
If you
right.
I'll
ever need a
do it
4.5 minute version of this,
I don't. I soundly do not.
Do you have the Seinfeld soundtrack? I'd like to hear a long version of that.
Tossed salads and scrambled eggs.
anyway, Diamonds Are Forever, guys.
love
Upon revisiting it, did you like it more, Matt Gorley?
I think I stayed the same, but
Stayed
I've
the
always
same?
been a fan.
Doug, up
I was
or down?
a little disappointed.
A little disappointed. I would
Yeah.
have to go on the Doug camp of this and be a little disappointed.
Did
by
you
this.
name your notes?
I did. Notes are forever.
Oh, I put Diamond Notes forever.
Diamond Notes forever. I like that. Let's just go ahead and let's just leave you all on the Kanye West remix.
Oh, Jesus. Well, now, I don't know that we're going to have a chance to record anything else before the holidays, are we?
So what we're going to say here is have a happy James Bond holiday. Hopefully some of you for Christmas, you received the James Bond box set. Maybe that's under your tree.
Yeah.
And you can catch up along with us. And maybe if you're looking for stuff to do, I know a gentleman at this table who has a number of podcasts that you could listen to over the break.
there's a lot of stuff to listen to.
Doug Loves Movies, of course. Dining with Doug and Karen. You could go on to Jash on the YouTubes and check out Getting Doug with High. It's a video podcast. I mean, come on. It's everything
Doug Loves
you ever wanted.
Minis, the spin-off from Doug Loves Movies.
Oh, boy.
$2 premium episodes of the Benson Interruption.
Get it. I'm on a couple of those. They're
Yeah,
fun.
yeah, you're all over all of my shows.
Yeah.
And I'm having fun doing all this stuff. And when I heard that you had this idea for this thing, I had to be a part of it because
I mean, you're just synonymous.
It's so awesome.
You're
to
our
just-
patron saint.
to
We thank you.
To just dissect the crap out of these movies.
Doug, you might be our Ian Fleming.
So I'll see you guys next year for whenever you get to that other one you were saying I might join in on.
Yeah, which one was it?
Oh, do you want me to say?
Yes.
I don't. You know,
Say it.
I don't mind spilling the juice. It was Moonraker.
Yes.
Oh, that's
right.
another
Or was it
favorite.
Octopussy?
Yes, no,
Or was it
was
either one?
It was,
Oh God, those
it was
two of my-
Moonraker.
I love my loves. Two of
Oh,
my
that's
loves.
great. But after the holiday break, James Bonding will return.
Okay, here we go
With
the
Goldeneye.
last Brosnan.
The last of
Let
the
me just say
Brosnans.
something really quickly
Go ahead.
about last week. So
James,
I heard a little.
Mac really caught a little flack on the internet.
I did catch a little flack, and I would like to not. I can't apologize for not liking those movies, but I can apologize for you people who are stuck under the thumb of Big Brosnan, and it's time to wake up. No, I'm sorry if I got a little negative, but it just it hit me.
He was tired.
I was.
He got a little
It's been,
tired, a
it's
little
been
negative.
a long couple of weeks, but we do wish you guys.
Those movies would be work for me too.
Yeah, thank you, Doug.
I think maybe we'll have to revisit.
Considering one of my favorites of all time was a little bit of work.
Yeah, that's true.
I think there may be some. There may be just a general inability to hold up with these.
There's a
movies.
cumulative effect that as much as we love these movies, there is.
I think you love the whole idea of it more now, and the fact that in your head you could clip together the best one ever.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
all the best elements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Doug, if you ever decide to interrupt another James Bond movie at Cinefamily,
I want to do them all. Like this one would have been so much fun to interrupt because there's like those like stretches where
God,
there's
yeah.
plenty of room to make
Listen,
jokes.
Sure.
Matt and I are at your disposal
build
if you
it
ever
in.
need us to do that.
All right.
If you want to do a special, we could do a special something or other with
Yeah.
James Bonding and Doug loves interrupting movies.
So I'm sorry I interrupted.
Go. Yeah, well,
James Bond will return in
Goldeneye.
Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy Christmas, John.
Now leaving Nerdist.com.